on this edition of Fifth Gear. I'm in South Africa to drive the modern version of an all-time great. And Jason's been to Germany, the land of the Autobahn, to see just how fast you can drive a rather special Audi. But we start by answering an important question. What is the best cheap car in Britain today?
We've got 3 of our favourite entry-level new cars, each costing around 7 grand.
First up, the brand new Volkswagen Fox. This Lupo replacement is built in Brazil to keep costs down. And it's here because it's one of the roomiest city cars.
Next, we have Toyota's Aygo. It's exactly the same as a Citroën C1 and Peugeot 107, but according to the testers at our website, you're better off at a Toyota dealership, so therefore it gets our nod.
The last instalment in this Small Wars trilogy is the Kia Picanto. Loaded with standard kit, it was recently declared the slowest depreciating car of 2005.
Now, it's pointless buying a cheap car if it's not cheap to run. So our first test is all about economy. Fuel consumption, MPG.
To find out which of the cars is the most economical, we've lined up a little real-world road trip. 3 everyday members of the Fifth Gear team will drive the cars in convoy in an everyday fashion on everyday roads.
After 100 miles or so, we'll brim the cars back up and see which car has used the least fuel.
They drove through the country. They drove through towns. They drove on the motorway. And despite driving in convoy, the Toyota still managed to take a wrong turn.
Reunited, it was time to fill the tanks. First, the 1.1-litre Picanto. It didn't cost much to fill back up, and after 106 miles, it used just under 8.5 litres of fuel, giving a decent result of 48 miles to the gallon. Next up, the wayward Aygo. The little 1-litre engine used 10.4 litres on its Dieter, giving a final figure of 41.7 mpg. Finally, the Fox, and after a slight hitch, we started filling. Its comparatively huge 1.2-litre engine used almost 12.5 litres on its journey, giving a losing MPG of 32.5.
So, as well as depreciating the least, the Picanto is also the cheapest to run. Even base models get ABS, central locking and a CD player, so it looks like a pretty good deal.
You might be buying cheap, but you don't want to look it. Later, the very stylish editor of GQ magazine tells us which car fits the bill at a top hotel.
Germany, home of the Autobahn, the first superhighways, an almost mythical network of motorways where you can drive as fast as you like. Or can you? Well, I've come to find out, to see if you really can drive at VMAX.
And my chariot? One of the most boring-looking cars launched this year, the Audi S6. You need a jeweler's eyepiece to spot the discreet badging that signals this is something a bit special. This is a £55,000 car with an engine out of a Lamborghini. And yet it looks like something an accountant would drive. Actually, a very wealthy accountant. Audi reckon the average income of an S6 buyer is 90 grand. And if you want one, you better be quick, because only 250 are coming to the UK this year. Finding an Autobahn isn't difficult. With 7,000 miles of motorways, only the USA has more. But finding somewhere to go flat out, well, that's a bit harder. The big thing we discovered is that only half the Autobahns have no speed limit. Areas by junctions or roadworks are restricted, and temporary limits are often enforced at night or in bad weather. Even when you see the magic no limit sign, you have to remember there's still a recommended speed limit of 80 miles an hour. Drive recklessly above that speed and the police will take a very dim view. But that threat doesn't stop most people getting after it.
Now this S6 is, well, it's just phenomenal. 5-litre V10, 435 horsepower in the most amazingly comfy armchair, so refined. It's beautiful. It wafts along, it's quiet. And by God, does it go somewhere. I mean, we just keep going and going and going. The gearbox is silky smooth. Oh, it is a wonderful car.
The S6 is limited to 155, the result of a sort of gentleman's agreement between the major German manufacturers as a nod to safety. Our mission is to see if you can actually hit that top speed.
Time to light the touch paper. We've now gone past the UK speed limit. 70 mile an hour, 80, 90, 100 mile an hour. That's 130. You know, we're on a unlimited stretch of the road here, and it's a dual carriageway. But one thing that is great over here is the roads are fantastic, the quality, there's very little bumps, there's hardly any roadworks, but also the driving. You know, the German drivers, they might not have a sense of humour, but boy, can they drive a car. Their cars are nailed to the centre of the road, their lane discipline. Well, I've never seen anything like it. It's a joy to drive over here.
The drizzle was forecast to become a downpour, so we knew we only get one more chance to hit 155.
There's 130 gone. 140. Tell you, even in the rain, this car feels absolutely rock solid. I reckon this could be the fastest bit of TV on a public highway. And there it is, 155 miles an hour on the rev limiter.
The truth is, Autobahns aren't quite the unrestricted playgrounds you may think. But if you pick your spot wisely and time it sensibly, it really is possible to drive your car flat out.
This is a Peugeot 206, and this is a 207. Can you spot the difference? The 207 isn't strictly a replacement for the 206, more the next model up. The newer car is slightly longer, slightly wider, slightly taller, and about an average person heavier. So the most important car this year isn't going to win any prizes for being radical. Nor is it going to win any prizes as a motorway cruiser. A boring hour on a Spanish autopista highlighted lots of faults, like it feeling noisy and a bit strained.
I keep wanting to change up. It's a 5-speed gearbox. How irritating! That is bad, 5-speeders. Nobody has 5-speeders anymore. It could cruise in a much more relaxed fashion. It just hasn't got the gear to do it. Honda Civic's got 6-speed throughout the range. I'm sure I recognise this centre panel from the 206, which means that it's kind of a bit mid-1990s. Small buttons, no great ergonomic leap forward. There's got this digital thing here with what the CD's playing and stuff like that. And it looks like a 1980s video game, like Pong or something. It's all like pixelated. It's not the kind of super cool, I don't know, what do you call it, animations that other cars have got these days. It doesn't feel funky. That's what I think I've got a problem with. And we're going up a hill now, and I could pedal it.
It's not even as if this 1.4-litre petrol engine with its 75 brake horsepower is more suited to the lower speed cut and thrust of town driving either.
I'm going to change down, there we go, we're in third, and floor it. And nothing.
It was all rather disappointing for a car that should be entertaining to drive. But strangely, that underpowered feeling suddenly made more sense when we got to the twisties.
I've been driving this car for a while now, and earlier on, when we were on the motorway, I didn't like it, but now we've got into the mountains and we're really going for it. To be honest, it's really good. It's got a lot more chassis ability than power. Reminds me of cars I used to drive when I was a kid. You just have to chuck it in and carry a bit of corner speed. And it's actually quite good fun. It's little, it's nippy, I don't feel intimidated by it, and for a base car, it's pretty damn good.
And here's another good point. I can fit in it.
The one thing you'll instantly notice is that there's lots more room in the 207, more headroom, more legroom. The 206 used to have a real problem with anybody over 6 feet tall because the seats just didn't fit. They felt a bit like a dodgem with a church pew wedged in them.
But the thing is that this car doesn't seem new. It already feels run-of-the-mill. Not that that's a bad thing. Some of the most popular stuff in the world is reassuringly average, and that's what the 207 is.
It's a grade C at GCSE.
It's like a 3-bed semi.
It's 5'10". It's a medium-sliced white loaf.
Ultimately, I reckon the 207 will take Peugeot back to the top of the sales charts because of one simple factor. For about the same money as a 206, you're getting a car with more space. It may be average and lack any sort of excitement, but it's also a no-brainer.
Right, now you probably know that I'm not very keen on old cars. They're usually uncomfortable, they don't handle very well, they've got rubbish brakes, they leak. But there was one old design that I was willing to travel 6,000 miles to have a go in. The original GT40 was developed by Ford back in the 60s to teach Ferrari a lesson at Le Mans. And it did the trick. The car won the 24-hour race 4 times in a row. It is one of the most evocative cars of all time. And if you want an original, it will cost you around £1 million. But there is a cheaper option. You could visit Hi-Tech Automotive's base in Port Elizabeth and get one of these. Hi-Tech build one of my favourite cars, the Noble, and now they've come up with this GT40 Replica. And believe me, it is an absolute carbon copy, right down to the shape of the oily bits. The only changes are a switch to left-hand drive and a repositioning of the gear lever in the centre of the car, which allows for a slightly wider seat, with both these modifications being done to attract the American buyer. And it's mainly in America that most of these cars will go to. Oh yes, one other little modification. They put in air conditioning. Now that's something you'd never expect, but it's something which on this cruise down the Cape Peninsula is more than welcome in the heat of the sunshine. You can choose from a range of glorious V8 engines. This 6.5-litre version produces 480 horsepower, and every time you touch the throttle, it feels like the car is going to soar into the air. And just like all the Ford GT40s that I've raced and driven, it's got a heavy steering from the word go, which lightens up as the speed increases. Ford's own modern-day interpretation, the GT, costs around £120,000, and you'd expect a version like this, so painstakingly crafted to be like the original, to cost even more. But actually, you can get to one, even with right-hand drive, for around £60,000. And there's just nothing around for that money with the same sense of occasion. At slow speeds, the car is a delight. So imagine what it would be like on a track. This is the Killarney circuit north of Cape Town, a place I haven't raced at for nearly 20 years. But it's a fabulous circuit, and I still know the fast way round. Past the pits under this famous tyre ridge, slamming on the brakes now, going to give it a G-force in. Long, long second gear corners. what's impressing me about this South African-made GT40. There's no rattles or shakes, it's solid. Oh, mind the curbs, Tim. This is the sort of experience everyone should somehow be given in their lives to make them understand why I get such a kick out of driving racing cars. That roaring acceleration which just pumps the adrenaline through your blood and just forces that smile onto your face. Oh, grip, grip. Oh. There's that long left-handed hairpin now. And the back wanting to go. I want to give it more power a bit sooner, but the corner goes on and on. Amazing how I come up this straight and there ahead of me is Table Mountain. You just don't want to stop doing things like this. Not today, not now, not never. One more lap. Now, back to our quest to find Britain's best budget car. After round one, our fuel consumption test, the Picanto is in the lead.
Now I'm off to see if any of these cars can live their high life in round two, our test of style. One of the benefits of buying a cheap, small car is that it gives you a little more money to enjoy the finer things in life. Because you're not breaking the bank to meet your car repayments, you can afford to upgrade in other areas. Your choice of hotel, for example. You could stay somewhere like this, Clifton House in Berkshire. We know of no other hotel car park which is home to so many expensive cars. The cheapest room costs £300 per night, and if, for example, you bought the Kia instead of a Porsche, you could afford to stop here for 210 nights. But would you fit in? Certain standards are expected, and there's some illustrious company to keep. So, are any of our cars worthy of pulling up to such a location? Or is it a case of buy cheap, look cheap? To help us find out, we've called in one of Britain's leading arbiters of style. Dylan Jones is the editor of GQ magazine and is used to setting the agenda of what's cool and what's not. What makes a car stylish? What bits on a car?
I think more and more people are looking for some individuality when they buy a car. There are so many cliches that people use, and I think that, you know, you sit down and you're in a bucket seat and you've got this surrounded by this kind of grey, awful plastic stuff. It just doesn't make you feel very special.
So let's see if he finds anything he likes. First up, the Volkswagen Fox.
This looks like it could be a Peugeot or a Ford or...
Yeah.
In fact, anything.
Open the door.
See, you've got generic grey plastic. I could be in any car from the last 10 or 15 years. There's nothing about this car which is particular. It's a shame.
Do you think, though, that because it's cheap, you get what you pay for?
But why does design have to be expensive?
So, marks out of 10, then, for the VW Fox?
We're talking 2 or 3?
Oh, you're so generous.
All right, 1 or 2.
Next is the winner of the last round, the Kia Picanto. It's cheap to run, but does it send out cheap signals?
I think the fundamental problem with this car is that it doesn't have any defining characteristics. So it just looks like a kind of small, cheap girl's car. I mean, it just doesn't look very masculine. It's got a semi-leather steering wheel, and actually the dash doesn't look that different from the one that I've got in my company Mercedes. It's certainly an improvement on the Fox. However, generally, it's a pretty unstylish, unsophisticated car, so 4 out of 10.
Finally, the modern design of the Aygo.
It looks like an expensive small car. It looks like a kind of rich man's plaything.
Do you not think that they've, just because they've added like a few bulges here and a curve there, do you think that...
Well, it helps.
OK.
I mean, you say that's all it is, but that's actually fantastically important.
OK, cool.
Plus, I think Toyota is a very interesting brand at the moment. They've just become the biggest car company in the world. They're investing in hybrid cars. They're very much of the moment. So Toyota is a pretty good car to be driving at the moment. Well, it looks a little cheap inside, but at least they put some kind of investment into it. Plus, it's got an iPod dock,
Yes.
which is great, which all new cars should have. I like it a lot more, actually.
So if you pulled up to this beautiful house in this car, would you feel embarrassed?
Not at all. I think I would have done if I were in the yellow Fox. But this, no, absolutely not. I think if you were coming up to the front of Cliveden in a yellow Fox, it would look like you'd got lost, or you were asking for directions, or you were delivering something. But in this car, it's fine. You're here for the weekend.
So, Dylan, marks out of 10 for the Aygo, please.
On purely design merit, I'd give it 6, 7. 7, yeah, 7, I think, yeah.
Fantastic. So there you have it. From no less an authority than the GQ editor, the Toyota Aygo is by far the most stylish of our cheap cars.
When you're battling the tedium of everyday motoring, you want something nippy and fun. So we've come to the tight and twisty Priory Park kart track near Tamworth to find out which of our cheap cars handles the best. First up, it's the Toyota Aygo. Now, this little Aygo is actually the most powerful of the three cars. It's a little 1-litre engine producing an amazing 67 horsepower, which, although we may laugh now, is actually more than a Mini Cooper had in the 60s. But the Aygo is not just the most powerful, it's also the lightest by some 100 kilos. So I'm expecting it to be pretty nippy. I don't like the seat, which I'm falling out of, so the seat doesn't get full marks. But it turns in very well for a little front-wheel drive car. Got a bit of initial grip. Oh, good handbrake response. Bit of wheel spin, good traction. Certainly frisky and fun. But certainly the response from the steering is very impressive. Now the Picanto, an extra whole cylinder and another 100cc. But it's actually got 3 horsepower less and is nearly a second slower to 60. Just going to show that being a bit heavier is a big handicap. No, things aren't going too well at the moment. Every time I touch the throttle, I'm getting wheel spin. Whoa, here we go. It sort of eventually turns a corner. Try that handbrake. Oh! Sorry, Kia fans. You're going to be in trouble if you try to be a bit too nippy round the car park because they just lock and lock and lock and lock. I said it needs to be fun and frisky. It's certainly fun. It's just not frisky. That way, that way. So it's left the Fox to chase the Aygo. We're up another 100cc, but back to 3 cylinders and down to just 55 horsepower. On top of that, the Fox is by far the heaviest of the 3, so it ain't gonna win any sprint races. But can it outhandle the Aygo? Straight away, I'm pushing a bit of understeer. Again, the squeal is a bit of the giveaway. You see, the Aygo there, a little bit of oversteer when I nipped it into the corner. Oh, the handbrake's good. Nice and responsive on the handbrake. Nice positive gear change too, better than the other 2. So, slight more understeer. The front not as keen to turn in, and much of that again could well be down to the weight. I don't think we're going to out-drag the Aygo, nor are we going to outmaneuver it. So if you want to feel cosseted and comfortable, the Fox may well be for you. But if you want to feel nippy and fast, the Aygo is the winner.
It was declared by far and away the most stylish of our trio by the editor of GQ magazine. And it was declared the most fun to drive by Tiff Liddell of Fifth Gear. It wasn't the most economical of our cars, but it wasn't far off. So we can happily say that for us, the Toyota Aygo is Britain's best cheap new car.